Mama's Boy Productions.
Y'all excited? Y'all excited? I'm excited. Welcome back to Street Scores. It's your boy Rico giving y'all that August 8th edition of Redskins Report. I'm hearing, reading, and seeing a lot of great things out of our training camp, but I'm going to talk about these miscellaneous topics first. Let's get it. Rookie outside linebacker, Mr. No Smiling in practice, Mr. Serious about his job, Ryan Anderson, said that Alabama practices were a little rougher than Redskins practices so far. And I can see how this may be true because a lot of the behemoths that come in the NFL are drafted from Alabama, and with college players only staying for a max of 4 years, Nick Saban has less invested in longevity and wants more immediate results. So I can understand how Alabama practices were more rough and had a lot more hitting and banging because, he don't care. Yeah, they about to leave in, 3 years or less, so he like whatever. But Mr. Straight Face also noted that Redskins practices have bigger competition level, which also makes sense. These are grown men. The best of the best make it to the NFL, and not only that, but he's learning from Kerrigan and Gillette. So he's witnessing some of the best outside linebacker play in the world. Y'all already know how the Redskins do it. Redskins have been assigned the 7th hardest strength of schedule for the 2017 season out of 32 teams, of course. I don't have any complaints. A mix of the division we're in, NFC East, the divisions we are assigned to play years in advance, the NFC West and AFC West this season, and how well the NFL expects us to perform is what led to this difficult schedule. And I'm sitting here like, what's good? Like, time to show up, Redskins. We play well this season and get these dubs. These folks out here, especially these Cowboy fans, won't have any excuses to slander us with. We play 9 games against teams who finished the season with winning records, 7 games against teams that made the playoffs last year. But we got this though. Bleacher Report. They have us ranked as the 9th best team in the NFL going into this season. I personally believe we're number 1, but it's great to hear this from a neutral point of view, especially since we didn't make the playoffs and there are 12 teams that make the playoffs each year, so you would think we would have to be ranked at 13th at the highest, but things happen. Other teams lose players, draft terribly, etc. And then you got the Redskins over here having a great offseason, either drafting rookies or signing free agents that make this team much better, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. Let them know, Bleacher Report. Some people out here sleep on the grind, man. Chris Martin of Coldplay sang about giving the Redskins good luck for this season. I just listened to the EP actually while I was at jury summons this Monday, like a couple of days ago, which is why I'm kind of behind on making this video or whatever, but it's cool. But the EP was pretty fire, but that's a little side note. Back on topic. Coldplay is from London. They don't care much about football at all, to be honest, but they shouted us out, first of all, because the Redskins wave is becoming infectious and a trend. Like, people want to jump on the winning wave before it comes popular. It's similar to like buying Facebook stock while Mark was still in that dorm room at Harvard. Secondly, Kirk Cousins is like, for real, becoming a celebrity now. Coldplay wished us good luck in Landover, Maryland because of Kirk and Kirk's support for their band. I see Kirk out here making these moves in the celebrity world. This Coldplay stamp just raised his status even more. Don't let it get to your head though, Kirk. I saw you and them, in company, other Redskins, with diehard Redskins fan, NASCAR driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Love him. I love anybody who supports the Redskins die hard. Shouts out to Wale too. I'm sorry for any celebrities I'm missing out on. But also on a side note, when Coldplay performed at Gillette Stadium 2 nights earlier, they wished Tom Brady a happy birthday, but they did not wish them any good luck. See, even Coldplay know we about to take off on them boys. Now, Josh Norman feels targeted by the NFL because even though they let up on a lot of the dumb rules they had on celebrations this coming season, which I'm very excited about. Like, I could go on a 20-minute rant about this alone. They still refuse to allow Josh Norman to shoot his fake bow and arrow into the sky. Even though it's not being shot at anybody specifically, they still feel it's too violent. Now, I'm really going to need the NFL to get their stuff together. I need them to be more consistent. How is shooting a bow and arrow in the air bad when you have a team named the Washington Redskins? That's basically the Washington N-words. The bow and arrow is something Native American people, which are the people y'all are leeching off of and profiting from, actually use. And Josh Norman is partially Native American. And meanwhile, y'all still continue to promote Viagra and beer on local channels that children watch on a daily basis. But y'all make billions off these commercials, so I guess this bow and arrow thing is really only banned because it doesn't make y'all any money. But it's cool, NFL. One step at a time. At least we can dance in the end zone and celebrate in groups again. So that's progress. I'll give y'all that. Now let's move to this training camp news. First of all, shouts out to everybody who went to Fan Appreciation Day, and really just anybody who's been to any training camp practices so far. I wish I could have been there real bad. If I get this job with Delta, I'm going to be flying to the DMV all the time, reporting, tailgating, attending games and practices, all that. But first, we have to start with the injuries. Nothing much is new, but a few updates. And I'm going to assume y'all want the bad news first, and then I'm going to give y'all the good news. Y'all know how cartoons always be talking about you want the bad news, the good news first. Whatever. Bad news is Josh Doctson had a slight pull in his hamstring, but luckily it's nothing major, and he is day-to-day. That's Josh Doctson on the screen if y'all wanted to know. Out there making plays. That's what he's going to do to opposing defenses in the NFL this coming season. I almost had a heart attack when I saw he got hurt again, because he was out last season, all season. He played like 2 games, and even in them games he didn't play too well because he wasn't fully integrated into the NFL. He was still a rookie. So technically, this is his rookie season coming up. But at least this injury is not bad this time. And for more bad news, Preston Smith is out 1 to 2 weeks with a sprained ankle. Martell Spate has a minor hamstring injury. And even though Maurice Harris has finally recovered from his knee sprain, he got sick and missed some practices. So nothing too major, nothing too bad, no out for season. So that's good right there. Now the good news, our secret weapon, Jamison Crowder, returned to practice this week. He didn't do much. He's kind of on the Jordan Reed exercise plan right now. And I understand there's no point in rushing him back in early August. Also, Rob Kelly's neck complications are gone, and he is back at full go in practices. And this leads to my first topic about training camp. Rip Rob is back healthy in training camp, and he is showing us why he is the #1 running back right now. And it's funny too, because with Rip Rob out, Samaji was using this time to shine to actually go out there and shine. But then Rip Rob came back and told him to kindly take a seat with the way he went out there and performed with the first team offense. His vision, footwork, and quickness were standouts, but what really put him ahead of Samaji Perine was his pass blocking, which is an essential part of any running back's game in a Jay Gruden offense. Of course, Samaji is going to be a wrecking ball in goal line situations or short yardages, but until he learns how to pass block well and with some aggression, Rip Rob is going to be the clear-cut lead back, with Chris Thompson coming in at third downs. But, as you can see right here, Samaji don't play, man. He run people over, but just got to improve that pass blocking, my good sir. Now, Terrell Pryor on the right and Josh Doctson on the left, before his minor injury, of course, have been tearing up training camp. They seem to be an unstoppable wide receiver duo. Both have great hands, great speed, and most importantly, height, which is something Kirk Cousins has never had except for Jordan Reed, who has health issues all the time. But he is dominant when healthy, I give him that. But they are dream receivers for Kirk Cousins. Terrell Pryor's like, 6'4", 6'5", actually. Some people have him listed as 6'6". I don't know, he tall. Randy Moss light. Or you can compare him to right now, AJ Green. Height and speed. Josh Doctson is about 6'2", so he can go up there and catch 50-50 balls for Kirk Cousins also, which is something he hasn't had yet. With Kirk Cousins trying to get his bands up and laugh all the way to the bank next year, he couldn't have wished for better receiver traits. But with Josh Doctson on the left, kind of being a rookie, and Terrell Pryor on the right, just recently moving to wide receiver position, there are still certain things they need to touch up on, like route running, but they are way ahead of schedule in terms of improving their route running. It almost seems unfair for them to be this great, for them to be improving at the speed they are, and for them to still be underrated throughout the league. Defenses, teams, and fans are going to be so confused and dumbfounded when these two beasts start taking the league by storm. and I'm excited. Now, Kendall Fuller on the left continues to improve and impress. This is technically just like Josh Doctson, this actual rookie season, even though this is his second year because he was injured the whole first year. Didn't have time to actually learn how to play in the NFL. He's looking like he's about to sneak up into that number 2 corner spot from Breland. You know, if Breland keeps getting mossed by the Moss clone and Pryor and his sidekick Josh Doctson, and if Breland keeps getting into altercations I'm hearing in practice. Also, Quentin Dunbar, with all the talent in the world, but is just getting used to playing defensive back after playing wide receiver originally when he was drafted a couple of years ago, is improving and is looking great out there making plays. DeShazer Everett, who is on the right, our special teams all-star, is also out there making plays and getting incredible interceptions on defense and practices. It's nice to hear we are getting some solid DB play out of Redskins camp. I love the fact that we actually have some solid starters and we have some good depth. Finally, it's been a while. And just wait till my boy Fabian Moreau gets healthy. I know I keep bringing him up in almost every report, but y'all don't understand. This first round talent is going to wake up a lot of people who really didn't watch his college film like that. I watched this film in UCLA. He's going to be something special, for real. All of the potential in the world, and I can't wait to see him grow into our best cornerback in years. Now, Josh Norman is dominant. I love his game. But Fabian is far more talented and athletic. Josh Norman's best qualities are basically his anticipation, awareness, and aggression. A lot of mental stuff, which is why he has the highest ratings in those stats, or stats that are similar, out of any cornerback in the league in Madden. But my boy Fabian has the athleticism and talent to outperform Norman in the near future. As soon as he gets healthy, it's over with for everybody. And Sua Cravens and DJ Swearinger, who you see on this clip right here, knocking somebody out on Clemson, I believe, when he was playing for South Carolina, are also doing their thing. Especially DJ Swearinger, who I just said is on the screen. Doc Walker ranked his top 5 Redskins newcomers this season by how impressed he is, and DJ Swearinger topped that list with Terrell Pryor, who I just mentioned, at number 2, Zach Brown, who's gonna go crazy, at number 3, Phil Taylor, thank goodness, at number 4, and Jonathan Allen at number 5. Sleep if y'all want to. DJ Swearinger, with not only his talent but his hard-hitting, trash talk, and QB-like IQ and communication around the field, are going to change our defense and franchise. And what's crazy, he's only 25 years old. Like, our future is looking bright, y'all. I'm telling y'all. I'm also reading that Spencer Long is finally looking competent and comfortable. He better. He's one of our main problems last year. Him and Sean Laval were just allowing Kirk Cousins to get slumped up from the worst place possible for a quarterback, right up through the middle. No quarterback in NFL history can perform well with a constant source of trouble coming right from the middle. Like, even Tom Brady, when they lost to the Giants in those Super Bowls, it wasn't because of the Giants secondary. It was because they constantly got pressure on Tom Brady, and even Tom Brady can't handle pressure. And it's a shame too, because running the ball, which is what Jay Gruden wants to do the most, is also a massive struggle when there's constant pressure from the middle. We ran the ball less than 26 other teams last year. That's not balanced. If Spencer Long can at least be serviceable and then just dominant at times this season, we gonna be extra straight. Shouts out to Bill Callahan, the offensive line coach you see on the screen, the offensive line guru, the one that formed the dominant league best Cowboys O-line. Shouts out to him for getting Spencer Long in a war-ready shape. I'm glad he's improving. Sadly, guard Ari Kwanjo, who we were hoping could replace Sean Laval, is looking a little ugly in the spotlight. He hasn't improved much. So if Sean Laval doesn't get it together, the left guard position is literally going to be our biggest weakness on our entire team, in my opinion. But luckily, our rookie center, I call him Chase Tom Brady of the centers, Rollier, because he was drafted the same exact pick as Tom Brady. So hopefully he can be the center equivalent of greatness of Tom Brady. He's impressed, and while Spencer Long was out, he played with the first team offense and the starters, and he impressed. Everybody took note of it, and it looks like he has a solidified spot on the final 53-man roster. Hopefully he can get enough opportunities to replace Spencer Long. Pro Football Focus loves this guy, and hopefully the Redskins do too. He has a lot of potential. Now, Jim Tomsula, who you see on the screen making a funny face, is getting the D-line right. He said he doesn't care who's starting. There's going to be a lot of rotation, in every D-lineman, no matter what position they play, is learning how to play every D-line position. I love that. Just in case if an injury happens or what have you. Anybody can play anybody else's position. He also has them boxing during conditioning in order to improve their hand-eye coordination, balance, staying low in their pads, aggression, and hand-eye speed. I love this tactic, especially if it works. You got to see it, they're boxing, but their knees are bent all the time. It's 24/7 squats, and they're having to box while moving while squatting. It's really cool. It seems like, I hope it works. I also like how Jay Gruden is just letting the other coaches do what they do and letting them, do what he hired them to do, produce results. Jay Gruden laughed about the madness going on with all the different coordinators, but basically he said, he's just going to let them do what works. If boxing makes the D lineman dominant, then boxing it is. But back to the D line, I'm excited that Jonathan Allen is out there showing why he was considered a top 5 player in college, period, and the best player on the best team in the country, Alabama, last year. And Phil Taylor is also performing well at nose tackle, which I cannot stress enough about. Nose tackle is so vital to a 3-4 defense. I explained it in a little bit greater detail in the previous report, and I'm hearing that he's looking almost as good as his first round drafted form, which has me very excited. And close to the D-line, our outside linebackers, on the left Ryan Kerrigan, on the right Junior Gillette, are looking as good as expected and hoped. Ryan Kerrigan is out there doing what he does, Pro Bowler out there looking like a Pro Bowler, but Junior Gillette out there surprising people with his great play. He's almost looking like his old self from New Orleans out there. That's great news. He has the potential to be our best pass rusher, which would take some attention off of Ryan Kerrigan and allow him to go even crazier. Also, Ryan Anderson, Mr. Serious, who I was talking about earlier, is out there looking solid too, making great run-stopping plays, which is why we drafted him. Now moving to these inside linebackers. Recent free agency pickup, Zach Brown, who's on the screen right there, is looking like the Pro Bowler from last year. His athleticism is superior to Mason Foster and Will Compton, which is why he is slated to be our best inside linebacker. Will Compton's IQ and awareness will likely give him a slight edge over Mason Foster, which will allow him to start with Zach over Foster, with Foster being rotated in. But Foster is more athletic than Compton, so it's going to be interesting to see who the Redskins have starting. Zach is automatic because of his superior athleticism and talent, including run stopping, pass rushing, and pass coverage, the whole thing. But Foster and Will Compton will continue to battle for that second spot, so I'm interested in seeing how that plays out throughout training camp and preseason. Now I'm glad to see my boy from down the street, Robert Davis out of Georgia State, out here impressing Redskin coaches, not only as a receiver but as a blocker, and seeing him block well probably has Jay Gruden's eyes wide open. I mean, that's what he seems to care about the most, and understandably. If your running backs and wide receivers can block aggressively and well, it changes the entire offense. 4-yard plays can turn into 40-yard plays just because a wide receiver made a great block on a DB or a linebacker. Robert Davis, being 6'3", 217, and running a 4.4 40 time means he has the tools to be a great receiver. That's automatic. That's a given. But he's out here pancaking people in training camp. He pancaked a couple of people while blocking. I'm very glad to see Robert Davis getting some recognition. Keep up the good work, Mr. Davis. I'm expecting you to show out in preseason and make this final 53-man roster and hopefully move up the depth chart. See you on Thursday at the Redskins preseason game, man. And lastly, Nate Sudfeld, our young third-string QB, was having an impressive training camp until recently. He threw a late throw over the middle of the field, which is an automatic interception, especially in the NFL. I mean, even in Madden, if you throw it late across the middle of the field, it's an interception. That's a video game. But that was just a bad day. He's having a pretty good offseason overall, and I expect him to keep improving. And that's it for this August 8th edition of Redskins Report. Hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. Hope I gave y'all some information y'all didn't know about, and I improved y'all knowledge of the Redskins offseason and training camp. I'm excited for the Joe Gibbs A Football Life feature that's coming out November 24th. I'm also excited for Thursday. I'm flying to Maryland, and I'm going to that Redskins-Ravens preseason game. I looked it up. I can take my off-brand GoPro and record the game and everything, but I just have to get permission from them to use it for commercial use. So I'm going to tread lightly with this. Don't want my YouTube account to get banned. I just started taking off on the slick, so I don't want to get in any trouble. But anyway, make sure y'all Dolemite fake punch that like button, favorite, subscribe. I'll subscribe back as long as you know. If you have your settings set to be public notifications for when you subscribe, then I can actually get the email that you subscribed, and I'll subscribe back. But if you have it as private, I don't know who subscribed to me. It just shows that the number went up. But most importantly, comment and share. Liking is also important because it puts me in other people's suggestions on the right side. You know, all the videos you see on the right. I've gone over this before, but that's where I'll pop up when you like my videos. But again, thank y'all for the support. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.